Man, I've been talking this whole time and just realized that I what. What's up with everybody, man? It's your boy Life is Just a Wave. Big waves in the building, man. Appreciate y'all pulling up here to the channel. Man, thank y'all so much for all of the support that you guys have been giving to me, man, over the last couple of weeks. It's been crazy, man. The support, everybody pulling up to the live, man, what we've been putting in the comments. We back with another Midday Madness episode, man, here today to talk about is Bryce Young size, man, a problem? We also got a host of other topics, man. Shout out to everybody, man. Let's get into it. Hey, like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, man. Midday Madness. We are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 o'clock noon on the East Coast. So pull up, man. You might be in the middle of your work day. Telling my drivers out there, man, put YouTube up, man. Make sure you put it up on the dashboard, man. Listen to your boy Big Waves. We got real Carolina Panther content out here, man, that we're going to be bringing out for everybody, man. I appreciate everybody that's pulling up and showing the support to the channel. Y'all don't understand what it means. Love, man. Also, if you haven't checked it out already, man, Life is Just a Wave. The channel itself has went over a cosmetic change, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think about the new brand, the new logo, uh, the new banner that's on the channel, man. Hopefully y'all fucking with it, man, because I promise you, we bringing that fire, man. We growing, man. We about to take off to a whole nother level. Let me get this shit up right quick. Anybody, man, that's new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. For all my surfers that are already currently surfing right now, make sure y'all hit the like button on this video. Also turn on notifications so every time your boy Big Waves go live, y'all make sure that y'all pull up and y'all right there. Y'all get notified every time that we talking about it. So we got a lot of stuff to cover today, man. I'm gonna have some people pull up, man. Hey, last conversation got spicy, bro. It got real spicy, man. It got a little bit of crazy talking about these quarterbacks and what the Carolina Panthers are going to do. So we go keep, man, continuing that conversation today. We're going to talk about a little bit about the Carolina Panthers, our cap situation, man, just to cover some of the topics. Bryce Young problem. Also, we're going to be recapping Frank Wright's comments from the owner meetings yesterday, man. A lot of interesting stuff that he said too. So we're going to get ready to cover it as we count down to the draft, y'all. We are less than 1 month away to knowing who the Carolina Panthers' real quarterback is going to be. We are less than a month away. I repeat, less than a month away from figuring out who the Carolina Panthers franchise quarterback is going to be. I'm excited about it, man. There's so many different things, man, that could happen at that number one pick. I am interested to see exactly where the Carolina Panthers go. But like I said to everybody, man, if you haven't checked out the new logo, the new look of Life is Just a Wave podcast, y'all go check it out, man. New logo up right now, man. Y'all probably can see it up there at the top. New band out, man. We rebranding the channel, bringing new fire, new heat. Hey, I'm just excited about it, man. God is good, man. But we are here, Midday Madness, man. Let's go ahead and get into it. So go ahead, man. Before I bring up our guests, man, I'm gonna go ahead and give my soliloquy to break down the show, or at least to start the show. So first thing I want to say, Frank Wright had some very interesting comments, yesterday about, Bryce Young and if his size is, a concern for him. Honestly, I don't think Frank Wright is really worried about his size being a concern. Uh, and again, this is not me having any kind of favorites. I don't have any favorites when it comes to, who the Panthers should draft. Number one, honestly, I just want these guys to draft somebody that is going to be a leader, a winner for years to come, that'll be able to bring wins in the W column. Like, that's all that I care about, right? I don't have a favorite of these guys that I can sit up here and say, this is the guy that I want to have. But they both have very interesting traits that I am a fan of, right? Listen, so I wanted to be known. It's obvious that Bryce Young is not the ideal size that you would want in a quarterback coming into the next level. But I think everybody needs to understand exactly how the game is, moving along and how the game is transforming over these next couple of years and how it's transformed. Listen, the way that the NFL is set up, this has become a passing league, man. And if you are able to throw the ball very well and you can get creative with your play calling, and you can avoid trying to take certain hits in the pocket, then you're probably going to have a good, successful career here in the NFL. And to me, that's really just what I think it comes down to when we're talking about Bryce Young. We're talking about him having a ton of success by being able to protect himself, not take a lot of hits, unnecessary hits. When we're talking about it, our offensive line should be able to at least protect him long enough so that he's unable, not taking a big ton of the hits. And I get durability is always going to be a scary thing, especially with how Tua Tagovailoa and injuries and stuff that he's, perceived. But again, I think injury is a risk for everybody across the NFL. I just think that at the end of the day, it comes down to if you are a baller. And that's really just what I'm looking for the quarterback position. So Bryce Young doesn't really, strike me. But we're going to read just a little bit of, words that Frank Wright had to say from yesterday's owners meeting. So when he was asked about Bryce Young due to his stature, he brought up the fact that Bryce Young only missed one game when he was at Alabama. So he didn't have a ton of injuries at the college level. So he said absolutely durability is in consideration. Wright said also in consideration is his playmaking ability, his accuracy, and leadership in his instincts. So to me, that sounds like a guy that's really not overly concerned about his size. And I think that that's really just how everybody should be looking at it. I think we're more so focused on his durability if he's going to hold up. Listen, one thing Big Bruh said on the podcast earlier this week, which really stood out to me as well, is that it's only an issue until it happens, right? So if Bryce Young starts getting hurt, then then the durability is going to be a real big thing, right? Once he starts taking hits and he starts, his body starts to break down, which we all hoping that won't happen, but it's not going to be an issue until it starts to happen. And I think that that's what we really need to start thinking about, because honestly, if Bryce Young was CJ Stroud's size, who would you really take? Who would you honestly take in this? If Bryce Young was the size of CJ Stroud, who would be your pick at quarterback for number one? Honestly, I really want to know. And don't say it, because, the if factor or this, that, and the third. Who would be your pick at quarterback if Bryce Young was the size of CJ Stroud? I really want to know. Two positive factors, that he also brought up when it comes to Bryce Young. In addition to his processing, which Alabama coach Nick Saban said it was off the charts. Why Wright doesn't view height as a concern with Young? Because again, his processing ability. This allows Bryce Young, man, to be able to get rid of the ball quickly, be able to understand defenses a lot faster at a faster rate than most people can at the quarterback position. So with that being said, with him having quick processing ability, he's able to get rid of the ball quick and avoid from taking a lot of unnecessary hits when you can get rid of the ball quickly. That's one thing that is a positive for a quarterback that has a small stature like Bryce Young, is your ability to be able to get rid of the ball quickly. Can you read the defense? Know where your wide receivers are going to be. Throw the ball to the target. Ball placement. Are you able to make those quick decisions? That's exactly what Bryce Young is able to do. And to me, that trumps his size any day of the week. So when I'm looking at all of that, I think personally, man, that will trump him and his size and how big he is. I just think that it's a lot of misconception when it comes to the size of a quarterback in the NFL. Everybody's always worried about being hurt. But again, there's an argument that can be made. There's no statistical category that says shorter quarterbacks get hurt more than taller quarterbacks, right? Simply because there hasn't been enough shorter quarterbacks out there. So that's really just what it boils down to at the end of the day. So we're going to go ahead and get into it, man. I'm going to pull my boy CLT up here, man, and talk about it a little bit. First topic of the day, man, is Bryce Young's size a real problem? But also, another thing, before we get into that, what Frank Wright had to say about Bryce Young. But since you're asking about Bryce, he's good at being instinctive in the pocket and minimizing hits, right? Continue. If you're a quarterback, can you minimize the number of big hits and intensity of those hits? They're all going to get hit. We know that. But there's a way to minimize those hits, but being instinctive. So those is what Frank Wright had to say about Bryce Young. He said that with having those instincts and not taking those big hits is an important piece for any quarterback, not just Bryce Young, but having the ability to be able to get rid of the ball quick and having instinct inside of the pockets to avoid for taking big hits. So maybe to this staff and to this Panthers brass, maybe the size thing is not a real deal, man, for the Carolina Panthers. Let's go ahead and hear it, man. CLT is in the building. CLT, what's good with you, fam?
What's up, fam? How everybody doing?
Doing good, bro. Doing good, man. Hope you doing straight.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Early morning, trying to get some work done. You know what I'm saying? Tuning into the channel. Appreciate you for having me.
Yes, sir, man. You already know it.
For sure, for sure.
So, man,
Um,
what do you think about Frank Reich's comments, man, about Bryce Young?
I would say for one, his comments are obviously what you're going to have out of a head coach, and it's intelligent comments. Because you have to have be able to keep all doors open. Um, I'm not expecting him to go into an interview and down talk a possible candidate. Um, I'm not, and that's just for having leverage. If I understand that they said that we don't want to make the trade the pick, but that's what they're supposed to say. They're supposed to tell you that they don't want to trade it. But as you know, in the GM eyes, everything is always open for the right price, right? So
Absolutely.
you don't want to discourage anyone from trying to move up to get him, or you don't want to make it seem that he's your only option. Even say you don't want Stroud, and your only option really is Bryce. You want to be able to sell it to another team to be able to collect some draft capital or any other type of capital for one. For two, um, for two, as a head coach, you have to be able to keep your options available. Anything can happen from now until draft that could only leave you with one of the candidates. And if you do badmouth the candidate that you did not want at the time, something happened to the candidate that you did want, possibly get in trouble, possibly get hurt, possibly come out with demands he wanted as a rookie. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? You want to keep all doors open. So those answers that he gave was expected. Everything he said, I would say is true. Being able to get the ball out the quarterback hands quickly, Bryce's ability to read defense, Bryce's ability to deliver the ball, Bryce's intelligence leans in his favor to be able to outweigh the height. You know, when I was able to compare heights between him and C.J. Stroud, it is not a huge difference. So at first I was one of the people that was like that size is a huge no, but once you be able to open your eyes and be able to look at different things and be open minded, you can see that the size is not going to be the huge red flag. Now it is concerning, but
Right.
it would not be something that I would not draft him because of.
Yeah, and see that is the thing, right? I think you hit on that is you got to understand something, man. Like, you know, uh, to me, it's about can you ball, right? Like simply like are you a baller, man? And Bryce Young is a baller, man, and that's the thing that a lot of the fans that I'm trying to get everybody to understand, and really not change anybody's perspective, but just be very open minded to it, man. That like, hey, yeah, okay, we know that his size, he's not the biggest quarterback that you would want in the room, but at the same time, can he make all of the plays and all of the NFL throws that we need him to make? And the answer is yes. Bryce Young can do it, man. He really can. And with his instincts and processing ability and the way he's able to get rid of the ball, I'm telling you, man, this guy could be a real live threat. Like I can see Bryce Young really leading this team, man, to have a ton of success. One, he always keeps his cool. That's another thing that's a good trait, man. When you're talking about having a quarterback out there, he always keeps his cool. He never the moment is never too big for Bryce Young. And that's one thing that you see with Bryce Young and all of the big moments. And Tom McShay said it, Mel Kiper said it as well. Every big moment that Bryce Young was in, the moment was never too big for him. He always excelled at the next level. When he played against the toughest teams in the SEC, when he played against Alabama, when he played against Georgia, when he played against all these other teams, you could see that the moment was never too big for Bryce Young. He always came out ready to go, ready to make things happen, and he never folded in the big moments. So that to me, man, is what really stands out about this guy. And the size thing, like I said, man, that's something that you won't be able to fix that. You would hope that he could stay at least above 200 pounds as the season goes along. But man, if you have quick instincts and you're avoiding taking big hits, you can have longevity at quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, we just have to be able to lean on his ability to do so. Injury also factor into him. His rehabbing, his ability to take care of his body, his ability to get the ball out quick, his ability um, to maintain the proper weight to be able to take those hits. every after every game, every practice, and make sure he putting the time into his body, not just the game. You know, so
Absolutely.
a lot of those things depend on the player as well.
Absolutely, 100%. It does depend on the player, man. But I think that this guy has all of the tools, right? And again, man, I don't have a necessary favorite, like literally saying like, hey, this is the person the Panthers got to have. It's always been Bryce or CJ for me. Like either one of those guys. Anybody that's been listening to me for a while now, especially this off season, I've never had a favorite, guys. So it's literally just been Bryce or CJ. All I know is that Mudbone said, all I know is that someone will be eating their words about these QBs later on. I hope Houston gets Bryce, but I'm cool either QB. I mean, Mudbo, the thing about it is that you really can't go wrong with either one of these quarterbacks, right? It's really like the durability issue that everybody claims Bryce has. Like, yeah, he plays at around 185, 195. Chris and Athena, absolutely, he does play at that weight. But at the same time, is that the durability issue is not a concern until it's a concern, right? Like, I have to like I feel like it's super unfair for me to sit up here to say a guy who hasn't had any durability issues while he was in college, thinking that he's going to come to the NFL and just automatically start having durability issues. Until I can see, like, until I see that happen, I can't. It's unfair, man, for me to say that this guy's going to have that problem. I think it's super unfair. I really do, to judge him and not say that he's not worthy of the number one pick because of his size and his stature. To me, that's insane. I just can't do that. I think we have to look at the play on the field. We have to look at the level of competition, the players that he's going against. All of that stuff factors in when we're talking about evaluating a quarterback when we from college to the NFL. And Bryce Young has fit the bill. He's checked all of the boxes. You can question the size and things like that, but look at his level of play in big games. Did he get hurt a ton? This man missed a total of one game in college, one game in 2 to 3 years in college in the SEC, going up against some of the best defensive talent, fastest defensive ends, linebackers, etc. Bryce Young has been able to get out of the pocket. He's also taken some big hits in college and was able to pop back up. What is the case? What really is the case that everybody is making about his size that's really going to be a threat? Can he throw the ball is the question. Go ahead, COT.
Definitely, he's proven that he can ball. He's proven that he can throw the ball. He's proven that he's accurate. Nothing leans towards that he's not going to be durable, other than a narrative that analysts has put out that a small quarterback can't last in the league. But nothing factual, nothing substantial that Bryce has done or put on the field says that he won't be able to last.
Yeah,
Everything he checks every box that you want as a quarterback, other than size and height. You know what I'm saying? Just because we haven't seen it done doesn't mean it can't be done. You know, like you said, the league is forever changing. The league is moving towards a mobile quarterback, which he checks that box, and also a quarterback that can deliver the ball and be accurate. He checks those boxes. He checks all the boxes. He just a concern. I wouldn't say it's overwhelming, but it is a concern. You cannot deny that it's a concern.
yeah. That's see that's what I'm saying is like is it really that real of an issue, right? Is it to the point where it's like, okay, we really should not be considering this guy because of his size? Because if he checks everything else and he's giving us everything else that you would want from a quarterback, to me, you got to consider this guy. Like he has to be he has to be somebody that we take a look at and say, hey, okay, we really need to try to take a look at bringing Bryce Young in. And to me, man, if you go back and just watch the tape, and I encourage everybody to watch the tape on Bryce Young. Go back and look at these highlights. Go back and look at what this guy is doing on the field, man. This dude is a playmaker. He is a playmaker. He turns play. I'm gonna be honest with you. He turns plays from nothing into something all the time. And he's not just sitting there looking to scramble first. He has instincts. He has that processing ability. He can see when a play is beginning to break down. He knows how to trust his checkdowns to get rid of the ball quick without taking the big hits. And that's the thing that I feel like a lot of people are not looking at. Like, we always wanted to sit up here and have this. I think like Doug Peterson was saying it at the owner meeting yesterday. He was saying this at the owners meeting as well. He said at the owners meeting that, listen, the way that the game is going, you're able to adjust your game to a lot of these smaller quarterbacks. These quarterbacks like a Kyler Murray even a Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, whoever it is that you guys want to throw in there, Tua Tagovailoa, whatever you want to throw in there. Yes, Tua has some unfortunate concussion, injuries and things like that happen. But overall, man, when Tua stayed healthy and when that line could protect him the way that they needed to protect him, Tua was balling. Tua was a baller, bro. He was balling. You got to be able to protect your quarterback, and with a top 5 offensive line, I see no reason why Bryce Young shouldn't be protected.
One thing about the Tua difference and Tua situation different and Carolina difference that Bryce is going to come into. Tua was not balling until they got the right situation. Just
There you
until
go.
just until last year, they were saying Tua. This last year was his last year to prove it before they go draft somebody. So once
Right.
they got Tyreek and once they got Waddle, and he's able to get the ball out quick, because they're getting open very fast. You know what I'm saying? And they had a decent run game. That's when you seen Tua begin to stride, and that's not what he's going to come into in Carolina. We don't have Tyreek and Waddle at receiver now. That is a huge difference.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, you're absolutely right. But, you know, again, man, like I still think that there's enough playmaking ability around here for Bryce to have success. You get what I'm saying? Like, granted, we don't have a Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle at wide receiver, but we still have guys, man, that should allow him to have a ton of success here in Carolina, right? I don't see this being a situation where this guy's going to come in and fail. You like, I don't like either one of these guys are going to be. The Panthers have said with this coaching staff and the way that they should be able to maximize the ability of both of these guys. With either one of them, they should be able to come in here and have success right away. I 100% believe that. Like I
Now, what I
see. Go ahead.
what I was gonna say, what I will say is, I do like Bryce coming out of college more than I like Tua coming out of college, delivering the ball,
Right.
accuracy, placing the ball. So that
Absolutely.
is that is something that Bryce has over Tua that would lean to him being successful in Carolina.
Absolutely. Shout out to Shot Badre, activist. I don't care if you got the best players. If you don't got the coaching staff, it isn't going to work. This coaching staff will be the difference. Hey, you absolutely right. I think this coaching staff is going to be all of the difference in the world. I really do. I think that's what, to me, has me okay with either one of these guys, right? Like, and then on top of that, man, like not only that, but one of the underrated things that we got Andy Dalton as a backup. You get what I'm saying? I think that that's going to be a prime example too, because he's going to be able to come here and mentor these guys as well, teaching them about certain different things or the nuances of the NFL that you might not know right away as a rookie, right? So having this kind of coaching staff, Josh McCown, a guy who played for numerous teams, probably has seen it all on the football field. Having him coach up these young guys. Frank Wright was a quarterback guru. Jim Caldwell is a quarterback guru. All of these guys are going to be put in a position for them to have success. Like I don't see any kind of situation where either one of these quarterbacks can come in here and fail. I don't see any type of situation like that at all. I don't see that at all, man. I think that both of these guys are going to be put in a position where they're going to be able to have a ton of success and they're going to be have success right away.
Yeah, I think both of them are put in the right situation, but I feel like our situation is now considered correct. Them booming or busting is going to be solely on the player. They're gonna have to hit the film room, put the work in just to be successful. Both of them mindset and attitude leans towards them being able to do so. Both of them Christian faith. Both of them seem like humble brothers. Both of them seem like they're detailed, they're focused, in the love of the game. You don't hear about any character problems with either one of them. Both of them seem to be leaders. They're both coming into our system. They're going to be put in a position to succeed immediately.
Absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, it's a quick promo, man. Hey, again, man, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe, man. We live here, Midday Madness. Y'all already know what time it is, man. We're here to talk about Bryce Young, man. Is this size thing really a big issue? Also, next topic that we have here lined up, we're going to be talking about it. The results came out for the Carolina Panthers win percentage. They came out of where the bet makers and the people in Vegas think where the Carolina Panthers wins are going to come from this season. And let's go ahead and take a look at those. So they have us at, give me 1 second. So The win total over and unders from Sports Betting AG, again from the decision makers in Vegas. They have the Carolina Panthers only winning 7.5 games. 7.5 games coming up this year, either if we draft CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. How do you feel about that, CLT?
That is to be expected by Vegas, and that's because you're picking number one overall. Without the trade, you'll be picking the top 10
Right.
with a rookie quarterback. Um, and we're a small market, so being us being a small market don't really help us in with odds. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a strong fan base. We have a strong fan, base, we're just not as big as other teams. Um, I disagree with win amounts. I'm saying we win at least 9. I feel like we win at least 9 games this year.
Yeah. Hey, salute, man. Salute to everybody. Salute to Omar, man. Salute to Supernova. What's up with everybody, man? Again, welcome to the Midday Madness. We are here on Life is Just a Wave podcast. Hey, we here, man. Y'all make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, man. Run the video up. Y'all already know what time it is.
Wait, maybe get our schedule pulled up and see, and we go through game by game and see what we come up with.
Well, I think the teams who we playing are out there. I don't know if the schedule is out yet. So we know who we're going to play, but I don't know if we are the but we can go ahead and pull that up though, man. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Give me 1 second. We go see. Midday Madness. MDJ, what's up with it, man? Y'all already know what time it is, man. Pull up, man. I know y'all at work right now, but tune in, man. If you can, if you won't break, whatever you're doing, tune into the channel. We here to bring you, man, to that heat. Talking about Bryce Young size being a real issue today, man. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna try to pull up this Panthers, who they're gonna play.
It also tell us home or away, right? I think they tell us the home or away games already, right?
Yeah, they definitely gonna let us know that. Yeah, let me go ahead and try to see if I can pull that up.
Hopefully, as a channel, man, we can make it to the season opener, man.
All right, about to go ahead and share my screen. All right, man. Let's get into it. Can everybody see that?
I would say zoom in just a little bit.
All right, yeah. Let me zoom in a little bit, man. Let me try to zoom in just a little. All right, so here we go.
Okay.
All right, so Carolina Panthers home games. Again, this is not the official schedule, but these are our opponents, man, for the 2023 season. Again, the Vegas odd makers have released the win-loss percentages per the betting over there in Las Vegas. So yeah, it's from Sports Betting AG. They have the Panthers with 7.5 wins. So looking at this, man, Carolina has the Atlanta Falcons at home, obviously New Orleans Saints at home, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, all of our divisional games. And we also play the Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings, Houston, Texas, Indianapolis Colts, and Dallas Cowboys. Those are all of our games so far at home this year. And away, obviously, all of the divisional games. And we play the Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions, Jacksonville Jaguars, Tennessee Titans, Seattle Seahawks, and Miami Dolphins. So what you think about this, CLT?
Just going by opponents. Off the top, I see 2 wins. The first 2, I say we sweep Atlanta this year. I believe.
Hey man, don't be so sure, man. Atlanta been making moves this free agency. They just signed Calais Campbell today.
I like what we did, so I say we sweep them. I feel like we
Okay,
sweep them.
so you got a sweep in the Falcons. All right.
Yeah, I think we'll at least beat the Saints. We split with the Saints, so that's 3 right there. Tampa, I don't see why we don't sweep Tampa. I don't even have a quarterback right now.
Yeah, we should be able to beat him.
That's what 5 there. We probably lose Green Bay.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
I can see that.
Chicago.
Now, we ain't gonna lose to Green Bay. They ain't even gonna have Aaron Rodgers. We should be able to beat them. They're gonna have Jordan Love.
I say still 50-50 game. Because they're in a new regime basically and losing if they lose Aaron Rodgers, and we consider it a new regime, so it's a 50-50 game. But we gotta take into account some losses. So I say we lose Green Bay. I say we beat Chicago. So that's 6 wins there. Uh, Minnesota tough game, 50-50 game. So I don't want to say it's a win. Detroit, they're on the up run, so that's another 50-50 game. Houston, we definitely beat Houston, so that's the 7 wins that Vegas gave us right there. Indianapolis, I think front right go beat Indianapolis. That's 8 games right there. And I got us coming out on top against Dallas, so that's 9. Uh,
Okay, I like that. So this one I'm gonna
um,
go ahead and say, man. So you got us winning 9. I think with the Atlanta Falcons, we split with them this year. I think that we win one, lose one, just like we did last year. For whatever reason, we always do that with the Falcons. I think it's going to be the same with New Orleans. I think we're going to split one and win one, maybe win the one in Carolina, lose the one in New Orleans. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we should be able to sweep them. So I think that we should be able to beat them twice. I'm just not. Baker Mayfield is just, he's not going to get the job done. The Green Bay Packers, so if so, I have us winning one against the Falcons, one against the Saints.
you at 4?
Yeah, I'm at 4. The Green Bay Packers, that's Jordan Love's Green Bay Packers. I think we should be able to beat them at home. Minnesota Vikings is going to be a tough game. I think we lose that at home. Justin Jefferson and those boys, I think it's going to be a tough loss for us. Houston Texans, we should be able to beat the Houston Texans. Not worried about the Houston Texans at all. I think we should be able to come away with a win against the Houston Texans. Indianapolis Colts, same thing. It doesn't matter if AR-15 is their quarterback or what. I think we beat the Indianapolis Colts. Dallas Cowboys, as much as, I hate Dallas and I think that we're a better team than the Cowboys, I think that we are going to lose that game at home. They just, Dallas is not a playoff team, but they're a regular season team for whatever reason. All right, so I have us losing the Dallas Cowboys at home. On the road, let's see. Like I said, we will probably lose to the Falcons, Saints. We'll beat Tampa Bay. The Chicago Bears, that's going to be a tougher game than what I thought, but I'm going to give us the win over that. Detroit Lions, I think we're going to lose to the Detroit Lions. The Lions are going to be the real deal this year. Jacksonville Jaguars, this was a team that was one game away from being in the AFC Championship. So I'm going to say we're going to lose to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tennessee Titans, we should be able to beat the Tennessee Titans. The Seattle Seahawks, I think that we will lose to the Seattle Seahawks. We beat them last year, but they might be a little bit better team this year. And the Miami Dolphins, I think we lose to the Miami Dolphins. They have a ton of talent there. So how many wins is that?
9. So he came up with 9 just like me.
Yeah. So
Different
9.
scenarios, but 9.
Yeah. So 9 wins is what I see realistically the Panthers having for this upcoming season. I think that's fair to. I think that's a fair assessment of that. I really do. But Jeff R, to answer your question, Jeff R, AR-15 have a good pro day tomorrow. Y'all might not have to worry about Bryce or CJ. Nobody's worried about AR-15. I'm going to keep it real. The Panthers did not trade all the way up to number 1 to draft a guy who's probably not going to be ready to start one day from day one. There's no way. I'm going to be honest. If the Panthers took AR-15 at number 1, I would be so disappointed in this team. Honestly, it would ruin a great offseason that the Carolina Panthers have already had, right? AR-15, listen, I get his physical traits. I get his upside and his potential. But all draft analysts, everybody says that as a passer, he's not ready to go. He's not ready to go as a passer. And to me, that's what bothers me. Go ahead, CLT. What's your thoughts on that whole AR-15 going number 1 overall?
No, not number 1. Not number 1. And if we're being 100% honest, we don't get them there. If we're not being honest, and we can trade back to possibly 3 or 4, I would take them 3 or 4 to be able to get a second round pick or to be able to get a late first round pick where we can go get Jackson and Nigba. I would pair him with Jackson and Nigba and the addition that we had this offseason with AR. I think it could work. I'm not as down as on AR as you are. I'm actually a fan. I'm just not a fan of number 1.
Yeah, I don't see him. The only way that we end up with AR-15 if we trade down for whatever reason and get a bevy of picks. So like if we like let's say for instance, a team like the Colts or somebody want to trade up to number 1 and we get the number 3 or number 4 or something like that pick, and we got a bevy of second or third rounders or something else, man, that we can go get somebody else. In that scenario, possible, but at number 1, we don't take AR-15 at number 1, right? I think everybody's getting their panties a little bit too wet with what Frank Wright said at the owners meeting yesterday, where he had high praise for AR-15. He said that he's a guy that can do this, and the completion percentage doesn't worry him as much as other things. But there's no way that you trade all the way up to number 1 to get AR-15. I just don't. I'm not a believer in that, simply because he is a project. I don't think that he is a guy that is going to be ready to start right away. I just don't. If Todd McShay doesn't even have Will Levis being a day 1 starter, I know for a fact that AR-15 is not a day 1 starter. I'm not okay with taking a guy number 1 that's not ready to start out from the gate. You got to be ready to go. If we taking you number 1 overall, you got to be ready to get thrown into the fire.
Agreed.
And I don't think AR-15 is that. Listen, like I said, he's a freak athlete, got a ton of speed, got the size that you want, has a strong arm, but the passing worries me a lot at the next level. You get what I'm saying? It worries me a lot. I feel like we will be talking about a lot of games where AR-15 missed a lot of throws as we go through the regular season, right? Kind of like some of the stuff we were talking about with Cam Newton to an extent. You know what I mean? And let's keep it real. This guy is no Cam Newton. I feel like Cam Newton was way better than AR-15 when he came out of college. So, again, I'm not a believer in that. This guy should not be taken number 1 at all. The Carolina Panthers did take him number 1 at all. I think it ruins a great offseason that the Carolina Panthers already have. That's my thoughts on it, though, man. I'm sorry. I could be a little bit hard on him. I could probably be, talking a little bit too much bad about AR-15. I'm just not sold on the guy. I'm not, man. I'm not sold on AR. Now, if we were at pick number 4 or 5 and you miss out on Bryce or CJ Stroud, then that's understandable, man. But I think Carolina Panthers are going to his pro day to do their due diligence. All of these guys are going to come into Carolina over the next couple of weeks for, a visit. I get all of that. They're just doing their due diligence. And really, what the Panthers doing is a strategic. I think the Carolina Panthers know exactly who they're going to draft. I think right now they already know who they're going to draft. Somebody said it. This is all smoke screens. I think Chris said this. This is all smoke screens. The Panthers are trying to make it seem to the rest of the NFL like they don't know who they're going to draft to try to get somebody to bite on potentially trading to the number 1 overall pick. It's all smoke screens. That's exactly what Carolina is doing right now. They're trying to act like they don't know who they're going to get so that they could get one of these other teams like the Colts. They said the Raiders may even potentially want to trade up to get a quarterback because, Jimmy Garoppolo is just a bridge until they find their franchise quarterback. So I think that this is all smoke screens, man, for them to try to run up the price of somebody trading up to the number 1 overall pick. The Panthers already know who they're going to draft. I think that they already know who they're going to draft. They're just like Chris and Athena said, these are all smoke screens. Would you trade back into the first round for 39 to Jackson? Absolutely. I would definitely do that. I would definitely do that, Chris. If the option was there and we could make it happen, I would 100% do that without a doubt. I would have no questions about it. I would absolutely make that happen. JSN is going to be a special talent at the wide receiver position in the NFL, and to be able to team him up with CJ Stroud would be something amazing. It would absolutely be amazing. Shout out to everybody, man, that's live. We are here, Midday Madness. Life is Just a Wave podcast, man. If you're new to the channel, make sure that you subscribe. Hit the like button on this video as well, man. Y'all run your boy up. Hey, Cash App is scrolling across the screen, man. Anybody that's feeling generous, want to give anything, man, it only helps the channel, will be greatly appreciated. Y'all already know what time we are on the road to 800. Also, if y'all haven't done so already, man, y'all check out the new logo, man, new banner on the channel, man. The channel has went over a cosmetic surgery, man. So y'all make sure to tell me if y'all like it, man. If y'all rocking with the new logo here on Life is Just a Wave podcast, we got CLT in the building. CLT, AR-15, man. So again, you said that you like them, but you just don't like them at number 1.
Correct. So what I like about AR-15 and why I think that he can work as a player is because of the direction, like you said, the direction that the league is moving to. I feel like you can compare him to Jalen Hurts, the bigger, well, not bigger, you would say the more athletic quarterback, run heavy offense, had struggles with accuracy coming out of the league, slipped into the second round. But all the right pieces are put around Jalen Hurts to succeed, and I feel like we have built the dynamic in Carolina, which can be compared to Philly with all the right pieces. I don't think we have the best receiving core like Philly has, but other than that, I feel like we have comparable measures to Philly. So I feel like if you place AR in our system at a fourth or like the fourth pick, he can work with pairing with Miles Sanders. Like I said before, if we get that trade where we can acquire Jackson and Enigma at the receiver, you're replacing DJ Moore with Jackson Enigma, whatever. Like I'm sorry, you're replacing them. You're replacing DJ Moore with Jax. You put them in a run-centric offense, which I'm pretty sure Frank Reich can build for a rookie. And I think AR can succeed, man. I feel like accuracy can be taught. Athleticism is God given. He has those things. He's been exciting in the league now. The experience is not there with 13 starts. But coming like they say, coming out of college, Josh Allen was considered a project, and he's booming. So I would give him an opportunity. I just wouldn't give him an opportunity at number one.
Yeah, and my thing about it is, and Bucky Brooks just dropped his mock draft as well, man. He had the Carolina Panthers taking C.J. Stroud at number one, probably such as everybody else, man. He dropped his latest, mock draft. But this is my thing: like all you things you said about AR-15 are absolutely true, right? But again, when I'm watching the tape on AR-15, there are some throws and some times where he looked great. But one thing that kills me, man, about AR-15 is that he struggled against some bad teams in college in the SEC, right? And to me, that bothers me a lot. Like when we're looking at, going forward in the direction of Carolina Panthers, the Panthers are in a situation, man, where really everything that they've set this team up with this offseason is for them to win right now, right? Like the Panthers are trying to win sooner rather than later. And I'm not saying that AR-15 couldn't be the guy, but I don't think you give everything that you gave away, DJ Moore, future draft selections to move up to number one to get AR-15. I don't believe that. I'm not a believer in that. I just don't see that that's something that the Carolina Panthers would do. If we traded down to the fourth or fifth spot or something like that, man, and we gathered some, a lot of draft capital or something like that, then yeah, it probably would make sense. But overall, the Carolina Panthers don't draft AR-15 with the number one overall pick. That would be a terrible decision. I can't even justify being able to go number one. Like I can't justify it in no form or fashion. He's to me, he's a freakish athlete. That's pretty much all he is. Quarterback though, when you ask him to throw the ball, and I can't wait to see his pro day and see these throws that he make. I promise you, his pro day is going to be a lot like Will Levis's, where you're going to see a lot of him on the move, rolling out, throwing balls, throwing a lot of deep routes. He's going to probably throw like deep corner routes, deep passes to show off his arm strength. You're not going to see a lot of, over the shoulder throws, a lot of, out routes and things like that, where he has to be accurate on those. You're not going to see a ton of those at his pro day tomorrow. You're going to do exactly. It's just like how Will Levis's was, where he just displayed his arm strength. That's really just how I feel. So, Will AR-15, I'm sorry, he's just not the guy for the Panthers at number one.
Yeah, not at number one. Not at number one. Four, like you said, if we can get the Hall, I would trade back, and that's what I would prefer to do, honestly. If I can get a Hall and I can go to 4, I would take him.
Yeah, don't fall in love with the arm. And that's one thing that Frank Wright said out too, man. You can't really fall in love with certain characteristics of a lot of these guys simply because, again, you will end up trying to make the wrong decision. Like I get what everybody is saying about AR-15. I get it, right? Size-wise, running ability, arm strength. He has all the intangibles to be a great candidate at quarterback. But for what the Panthers are, And what we're trying to do and what we're trying to build right now, I just don't think that he's the answer. I think you got to go get a more proven passer. I think you got to go get somebody that can really, operate in a Frank Wright offense. And honestly, I don't think AR-15 is that guy. I really just don't. I don't. Hey, but I would love to hear, man, from somebody else. Hey, the link to the chat is out there as well, man. For anybody that want to pull up, want to go ahead and post it again. For anybody that want to pull up to the channel, man, Midday Madness Live in the Mix. All right, the link is posted out there, man, for anybody that want to pull up, man, to let me know exactly, man, how y'all feel about it. And let's move back to the whole Bryce Young thing, man, as well. And let me ask you this question, CLT. How could you see Bryce Young being used in our offense, right? Like, what do you think would be kind of like how the Carolina Panthers would utilize him in this Panthers offense?
I think you can use him in any way. I think he's able to fit in any offensive system. Whether you want him strictly in the pocket, whether you want to create some plays where he's rolling out of the pocket, some design quarterback runs. Now you're going to have to teach him how to get on the ground. But I think he can be used in any. I don't think it's no limit to his game on what system that he can play in. I would obviously result in some quick passes based on the receiving core we have and based on him being smaller. But I feel like his horizon is very open to any offense that we want to run.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think that we're going to be able to use him just as much as we will be able to use C.J. Stroud. So I don't think that this will be a situation where we will be limited to using him in the offense. That we will be limited, or the size thing or anything like that. I just don't see it, man. I really don't. And I've been trying to find, like, hold up. Jeff R says, why the smoke screen late in the game? Just show confidence in your selection. It shows the QB we believe in him. Also allows creators to decide if they want to come here or not. I mean, Jeff R, listen, there's some truth in exactly what you're saying, but at the same time, it's a business strategy, right? Yeah, if you don't show your hand, because you got to remember, there's still a ton of time until the draft. Like, anything can happen until the draft, comes up here in less than a month. I think you don't show your hand right now because you're trying to keep teams guessing. Basically, what you're trying to do is what the Panthers tactic that they're trying to utilize is we're going to have these teams guessing on exactly which guy that we're going to take. So if a team gets desperate enough and they think that we're going to take the guy that they really want, they would actually give the Carolina Panthers a call to figure out exactly what it would take to move one. So it's all a strategic, like, guessing game. That's all that they're doing. They're trying to not show their hand to get other teams to get desperate so that they may not have the guy that they want to have. That's really all I think this is, Jeff R. I don't think it's a lack of confidence in whatever the guy it is that they want to have. I think right now they're just trying to go through the whole process to not show their hand. But I think the Panthers already know who they're going to draft, man. They already going to know. Shout out to the people, man, that's in the chat. Shout out to Chris. Shout out to Jeff R. Shout out to Supernova 704. Midday Madness in the Mix, man. Y'all already know what time it is. Here bringing you that Carolina Panther content, man. Midday every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, man. Like and subscribe to the channel, man. If you're new to it, we on our way to the 800 mark, man. So appreciate the love and the support. Y'all run this video up, man. Y'all share it. Turn on the notifications. So every time your boy Big Wavez is in the building going live, y'all here, man, and show the support and get notified when we go live. Hey, listen, man, the countdown to the draft is real. We are here in the mix. We are about to be literally 3 weeks away from who the Carolina Panthers franchise quarterback is going to be. And again, I don't know who they're going to select. I think the only people that know right now is the Carolina Panthers. They're the only people that know who they're going to select, but they know who they're going to select. We just don't know. I think the Panthers already know. And to be honest with you, man, like my pick change CLT like every day. It's like every day my pick changes every single day, man. Every single day, my pick changes. I do more research as I do more studying, watch more film every single day, man, who I think the Panthers are going to take. But this is not who I'm saying the Panthers should take. I'm
This
not going to say who I think the Panthers should take because I think personally you can't go wrong with either one, right? Like you can't go wrong with either one. You just can't do it. So I'm going to say I think the Panthers are leaning towards CJ Stroud, but they also probably will come down to taking Bryce Young in the end. I think Bryce Young playmaking ability when they bring him in for like a private visit, I think that that's going to weigh a lot. I think that that's going to weigh a lot. Like there's nothing else these quarterbacks can do to show that they arm talent. Now it's just about who builds the best relationship with the staff when they come in for their own private visits, right? Who's going to impress them the most over these last couple of days? Like I think that's what it's going to come down to. Who's going to create a better relationship with David Tepper, Scott Fitterer, Frank Wright? That's what it's going to come down to over these last couple of weeks before we head to the draft.
Yeah, like we said, bro, you can't go wrong with either one of them. It's a beautiful problem to have. You know, you at the top, you pick your poison. Let's hope that we do the right film study. Let's hope that we do the right assessment. Let's hear these guys' intelligence, like draw up some plays for them. You know, see who's more intelligent. You know what I'm saying? See who's buys in our system more. It's a beautiful problem to have, man. Without either one A or one B, truly, we'll be in a good position with either one.
Yes, sir. Without a doubt. Man, you think we should do a quick little mock drive, a midday mock draft, man?
Definitely, man. I've been wanting to get in on one. I ain't been able to get in on one.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do a midday mock draft. Let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up. Let's get into a midday mock draft. I'm in a mock draft mood right now.
All right, now, with this mock draft, are we gonna be doing what you would do as a GM, or what you think the Panthers are gonna do as a GM?
We're gonna do both.
Okay,
Yeah, we're gonna do both.
let me get the what I would do as a GM. You get what the Panthers do as a GM.
Yeah. Without a doubt. We're gonna go ahead and get into it, man. We're gonna go ahead and do a mock draft. We're gonna go ahead and do a mock draft right now. Live mock draft. Life is just a way. Midday mock draft. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, man. So we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Midday mock draft here on Life is Just a Way podcast, man. We got CLT in the building. CLT, we're gonna let you go first, man. I'm gonna let you go through a whole draft and decide. Now, remember, you have the option to make trades, all of that. You can do all of that if that's what you so choose to do. So it's gonna be completely up to you. You ready, bro?
Gotcha.
All right. Carolina Panthers are on the clock. Now, hold on right quick. So, offer trades before the draft starts. So we got a couple teams, man, that are interested in trading up to number one. You got the Houston Texans at 2, the Cardinals at 3, Colts at 4, Seahawks at 5. Basically, a lot of teams is wanting to trade up, man, to try to get to number one. So do you want to make a trade right here?
Definitely, I'm gonna go back at two because at this point, we one A or one B. It don't matter who we get. Let's get some capital.
All right, hold on, man. For some reason, it's not allowing us to do the it's not letting us do the trade. I'm gonna have to find somewhere else. Hold on, give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, I think they just recently updated where you gotta pay for.
Yeah, you got to pay for it. I think they did just update it. Hold on 1 second. We're gonna go to another site. Hold up. CLT, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
You say you want to propose a trade to get it kicked off, right?
I would. I mean, I don't know what I would offer. I would want to go back to number two, but I doubt there. Let's see if we can go back to number two. Since that's the last, what the last portal was saying they might come up. See if we can go to two.
All right, let's see if we can go to Houston Texans. All right, so we're offering them a trade. So we're gonna give them number one, and we're gonna get number two. We're gonna get day 12.
They ain't gonna give us a 2 and 12. I would
Yeah,
say do 233 and try
bro,
to get
they
next
go
year's
they,
thing.
they go give us that 2 and 12.
Let's see.
Yeah, we go get 2 and 12, and we also go try to see if we can get it because listen, bro, they going all the way to number one. We'll try to get their second at 33. We're gonna propose.
All I'm saying is D'Amico said he just said they're not losing no sleep about what we doing at number one. You know what I'm saying? So they might not be this eager. They took it. That's crazy.
Yep.
That's some idiots.
Yeah, they took it.
Shit. We win the draft right then and there. We get a trade like that.
So why is
You
it not
want
going, man? Hold on. I don't like this one, man. This one right here is a little whack. Why is it not? It's supposed to be automatically doing it. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds, bro. I gotta find a different mock draft. I'm mad that they messed the one up on PFF. You gotta pay for that now, man. Big bro in the building. What's good, big bro?
What's going on?
Hold
what
on.
what it do, family? Do not
What's going on? Yeah, man. What about you?
doing
CLT?
pretty good. Doing pretty
Good.
good. Doing pretty good.
Good, good, good.
Yeah, man. We here to talk about it, man. Let's well, I figured this out, man. Big bro, how you feel about, man? Did you catch Frank Wright comments at the owners meeting yesterday?
I didn't, man. What did he say?
So he was basically talking about Bryce Young's size, man, saying that his size is not really an issue, more so just his durability. But he was basically saying overall, though, he think that with Bryce Young's processing skills, man, that he think that he'll be able to get rid of the ball quick and avoid taking big hits. How you feel about that?
Yeah, as I stated the other day, um, Young size, his stature, weight. I don't think it's going to be a factor. In the NFL, just like Frank Wright, man. Bryce played. If you go look at Alabama starting line, look at they size. He played in front of guys 6'7", 6'8". He played in SEC, man, where he took hits, and from people that's going to be in the NFL, and the dude, had a good solid career, for the most part, injury free. For the most part, he set out. I think he missed like 2 or 3 games or something due to injury over his career. It wasn't a lot. Um, but yeah, it's Bryce, man, his size not gonna be a factor, man. Again, those that think that it is I have to disagree with him. The man that can ball, and he gonna ball. So if it came down to size, if I was, if that was the determination to pick him or CJ, I couldn't factor that in. Like Frank stated, I wouldn't be able to factor that in. Pick one or the other size. So, that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, and he also said, man, because he said a lot too. He also said about Bryce Young. Let me pull up the excerpts. He compared the man to a lot of smaller wide he said that there's not enough data that shows that shorter quarterbacks, man, would be more susceptible to injury than than bigger quarterbacks. He said since there's not enough data, man, he went and compared them to other potential wide receivers like Marvin Harrison was short, 6 foot even. He said he just had an incredible ability to take hits. He talked about Barry Sanders and how small Barry Sanders was and his ability to take hits. Drew Brees was 6 foot. Russell Wilson was 5'11". So he compared him to a lot of short other athletes in the NFL and his ability to take hits. So what do you think about him doing that?
Yeah, I'll give you another one that wasn't on the list, and I actually seen in person. Devontae Smith from the Eagles, wide
Devontae
receiver.
Smith.
Yeah. So I watched him when I went to the college football playoff in 2020 when Alabama gets Notre Dame, and I seen him in person. The dude, small, like he looked like a little kid out there.
Yeah.
Right. He really did. Dude is at the time, man, he might have been 160 soaking wet, but that's another example. The dude balled in that game, and also that year, that was the year that he won the Heisman.
Right.
Devontae Smith, a little guy, he's still little with the Eagles today.
Yeah.
Playing in the NFL against huge monsters. So and he hasn't had no injury issues in the last 2-3 years. So I mean, that's another example where and he plays receiver where, they getting hit a ton in the game. And sometimes maybe depending on the game, sometimes maybe more than the quarterback.
Right.
And he's able to hold up. His body has held up and still be able to be productive. I mean, I know it's two different positions, but that's another example of a small stature guy who's naturally small. His frame, Devontae Smith frame is naturally small. He can't get bigger.
Nah, he can't.
His frame won't allow. He just that's just you go back to high school tape on him. Those that watch tape, he was small in high school, small in college, small in NFL. But he's a baller, man. On every level that he's been a baller. Size is not determining his game. You know, so again, the ones that's concerned about Bryce's size, like Frank Reich said, there's nothing in the history of the game that says, if you got a smaller frame, you're going to be injury prone.
Yeah, there's no type of statistic. I even try to look for it. To be
It's
honest,
not. I mean, you get guys that's big. We talked about Cam Newton the other day. On Monday. He was big. Roethlisberger. That was another big quarterback. They got injured.
yeah,
I mean, Dak Prescott. He a big. He a big solid. Bulkier
stay hurt.
quarterback. He hurt. Shoot. Even we can even talk about arguably the greatest that ever do it at quarterback is Tom Brady. He wasn't injury prone, but he did have injuries. He had knee injury, and he had one of the best offensive lines. He played behind the best offensive line every single year. When he was with the Patriots.
Peyton Manning had neck issues.
Peyton Manning. I mean, these guys that was bigger than Bryce. I mean, in the NFL, in the game, there's always injuries potential, no matter what your size is what I'm saying. That's my point. So
Right.
whether you small, whether you big, the injury, because it's a violent physical game. The
And you
injuries
playing
may
against
come.
the best in the world.
Right. You playing against the some of the best athletes, in the world. So I mean, those are grown men, strong, fast. Tell you, all they do is work out for a living. So, you know, Derek Cohen. It's about how you maneuver, how you take care of your body, and know when to get down. You know, when to slide out of bounds. You know, you got to know that playing those positions, man, because
Gotta protect yourself.
you got to protect yourself. You know, Tom Brady, go back and watch the film of him. If he felt like he was gonna get sacked, he would hurry up and throw the ball in the ground. You know,
Yep.
for him not to take a hit. You
So he
know,
went on to say, but since you're asking about Bryce, he's good at being instinctive in the pocket and minimizing hits, right? Continue. If you're a quarterback, can you minimize the number of big hits and intensity of
right
those hits?
there
They're
you go.
all he said all quarterbacks are going to get hit. We know that, but you have to minimize the amount as a quarterback to be instinctive in the pockets, know when to make moves, know when to take a hit and when not to take a hit. That'll keep longevity for any size quarterback.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I agree with that. I mean, that's just what I just stated. That was my point. You know, it's about minimizing those big hits and not taking those unnecessary hits. And that was the thing. And I hate to keep going back to Cam, but he's the most recent quarterback acquisition that we drafted #1 for the Panthers. So that's why I keep going back to him. But Cam, he didn't avoid those big hits. You know, just the type of game that he played. You know, he was a running quarterback. You know, Cam was big. He thought he could run you over, but he didn't. Cam wasn't quick to slide, man. You
Not
know,
at all.
he wasn't quick to run out of bounds.
Not at all.
So it's hard for your body to hold up over years when you constantly getting beat down and hit. So Frank Wright is correct. You got to know when to slide, know when to go out of bounds, when to throw the ball in the ground, you know, to avoid those big hits or just with anybody, whether it's CJ Stroud at quarterback. If you take enough big hits, you're going to get injured.
Absolutely.
I mean, no matter who you are. So again, size is not a factor with Bryce. If we was talking about him being injured for out 7 to 8 games in college, then you have a point. Like, dang, this dude can't stay healthy over the last 2 years. He only started, 12 games out of 2 years, something like that.
Right.
But you go back and watch Bryce. If you know anything about Bryce, and I know firsthand because I'm an Alabama fan, football fan, the dude was on the field majority of the time.
Yep.
Like I say, 2 or 3 games I think he didn't play due to injury, but he was on the field, carrying this team. So he don't have a history of injury. So I think we can kind of rule that out, man. For those that's still thinking about that, I mean, that's not going to be, and the Panthers coach told you, that's not going to be a deciding factor for them. That's what he said.
Absolutely.
As far
Absolutely.
as picking him or CJ or whoever, #1. So, he put that to bed yesterday.
Yeah, he definitely put that to bed, man. And that's really just what it's about, man. It's really about who can make what is your quarterback a baller? That's what it come down to. Is your QB a baller? Like that's really all that it come down to. If your quarterback can come down and ball and make the plays that they need to make, then that's really just what it comes down to. You got to be a baller. That's to me. That's why I said the size thing is not that big of a factor on any level. Can you come down and be a baller? And that's really just what Frank Wright was talking about yesterday, man. Because again, when you're looking at the Carolina Panthers, man, and where we are, and what we're trying to build and where we're trying to go forward, I don't even think we can be picky about a quarterback size. Like when you're talking about talent, like I'm not. Yes, you're at the #1 pick, but you can't be picky about stuff like that. You got to be able to come in here and make the plays. You got to be able to come in here and win the games. And I don't care what size you are, man. If you can come in and do that, man. Like
Yeah.
to me, that I could care less.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, man. It's all about what can you do on the field, man, and can you lead this team in this organization. So, I think the top 2 guys, Stroud and Bryce, can do that. Either one of
Right.
them. I think they check all the boxes to me. So whichever way we go in the next couple of weeks, is as long as it's one of those 2 guys, I'm okay with.
Yeah. Either one of those 2 guys, man. I'm 100% acquainted with it. CLT, man. What you think?
Like I said, like you guys said, I was saying earlier, man, it just depends on the player itself when it comes to size. Is he going to get down? Is he going to maintain a healthy diet? Is he going to maintain recovery? Is he going to know when to slide? Is he going to get the ball out of his hand quick? Like we all been saying, it's either 1A or 1B. I would prefer Stroud, but I would not be mad with Bryce Young. I would be 100% consent with Bryce Young as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's what I really think it come down to. Hey, so we was talking about it earlier, big bro. How do you feel about, man? Vegas done came out with predictions of how many wins Carolina's going to get this year. They had us at 7.5 wins, man. Based off of the schedule, we kind of went over that a little bit as well. What do you think this Carolina Panther, man? Realistically, I know it's still early. We don't have our quarterback, but realistically, man, what do you see as a reasonable amount of wins that the Carolina Panthers should have this year?
I'm gonna say without knowing who the starting quarterback gonna be, I'm just gonna put it. I think right now, with what we have on paper and this coaching staff, I think we can at least get to 8 wins. That's why I'm going. So I'm right where Vegas got it. Vegas got it at 7.5. I think we can, without knowing who the quarterback gonna be, even with Andy Dalton as the starter. I think on paper and with our schedule, we can at least and should be able to get to at least 8 wins. That's why I'm thinking, where this team's at is now, at least 8 wins. Again, there's a lot of details are going to go into that, as far as if we can get there or exceed that. But based what we have now, I'm right in line with Vegas, man. We should be able at least to get to that 7.5, 8 win mark is what I think this team is comfortable with. So without even knowing who the quarterback, like I said, Dalton, the Red Rocket, I like. He's a proven veteran. He was once a starter for several years in Cincinnati. I think he's a good game manager, and can lead us. Win a weak NFC South. And even if he's at the helm for a little bit, I think that he can win us. He can win us. We can get to that 8 game mark, man. Is what I think about it.
Yeah, definitely, man. I definitely see that too. So yeah, I had us, man, at 9. Just based off of the opponents that we have coming up for the upcoming year, and where I think, man, 8 or 9 is probably the safest spot to put Carolina right now. 8 or 9 wins to me is probably where realistically I think we'll end up being, but I think that'll be enough to win the NFC South at least.
Yeah.
So I really think that's where we should really be. So I'm gonna give us 8 or 9 wins, right where Vegas is at. Doesn't matter who the quarterback is. I just think, man, with the experience of this coaching staff, obviously with the NFC South, being down. See, the Falcons made a move today too, man. They brought in Calais Campbell, veteran defensive tackle. They signed him, man. They've made a lot of moves in free agency to make their team better.
Yeah.
And honestly, in the division, man, I have a splitting, with pretty much everybody except Tampa Bay. I think we'll sweep Tampa Bay, but the Falcons, I think we'll win one, lose one, because for whatever reason, no matter what kind of season, we just always do that with them.
Yeah.
And then with the Saints, I think we'll win one, split one with them as well, man. So
Yep. I'm with you on that. I agree with
so,
that. I think, like I said, my bold prediction, and this is bold. I'm emphasizing bold. My bold prediction, man, the Panthers can win, the NFC South next year.
Oh yeah,
that's my
Without a
bold
doubt.
prediction. Again, it's bold. I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm not, saying that's what we're gonna do. But I think, we can do it. And it'll be, we got a greater chance of doing it than not doing is what I think. So that's my bold prediction. NFC South champs. We'll get to the playoffs. And I ain't gonna go further than that. Right now, I said we can win the NFC South.
I wouldn't say that's bold, brother. I believe we gonna win the NFC South. I think we're gonna win the division.
I 100% think this is gonna happen. I don't see no reason why we shouldn't be able to do it, man. Like, because just think about the landscape, CLT, of what these other teams like. Yes, is it going to take time for this talent that we have on this team to gel a little bit? Yeah, it's going to take some time, right? Like they still have to gel. They still have to get used to playing with one another. But again, man, I think that the experience of this coaching staff, man, is going to make it a lot easier transition. I don't see this being as a situation where we're going to be taking forever for to see results on the field, man. And then we got some very much winnable games. CLT, we went through the schedule, earlier. There's a lot of winnable games on this team. I think our toughest game of the season was against I think we played like Minnesota.
So you got Dallas on there.
Yeah, Dallas.
Yeah, I think you heard me incorrectly. I said it's not bold. I 100% see us winning the NFC.
Right,
Oh,
right.
okay.
Yeah. That's what you said. Yeah. No, I'm with you, CLT. I again, that I'm leaning toward, I'm leaning more so that way than not. So, man, that's why I made that prediction. So I can definitely see it happen. Because our schedule is a lot easier this year than what it was this past season.
Yes, it is, man.
Thank the football gods for that. But yeah, so we definitely can do it. Without I can confidently say that without knowing who the starter is going to be. Going into it. And we're gonna see, man. But it wouldn't surprise me. We had this conversation. In the season next year. I said, well, it didn't surprise us, that we won, won the NFC.
I ain't gonna lie, last year surprised me how bad the NFC South was, man. That shit surprised me.
I thought Tampa was gonna be a little better. I didn't think they was gonna repeat, or get get to the Super Bowl. I thought Tampa was gonna be a little better. I knew they was gonna fall off a little bit because they lost some pieces on offense.
That shit
I didn't expect it to be that bad though.
Right. I didn't expect Tampa Bay to be as bad as they was.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
that was the thing.
I didn't expect them to drop off like that. So.
Yeah, like the Falcons. I mean, I knew they was going to be bad, and I knew the Saints was going to struggle. Obviously with some inconsistency at quarterback, man. But you would have told me Tampa Bay, man, would have been as bad as they was. Shit, I laughed. I didn't see that happening. So. And I still think we got the best defense, the defense in the division.
Yeah.
That's what's giving me the edge over everybody else. Like I think our defense is better than the Falcons. I think our defense is better than the Saints because they have a lot of players that are getting older that are regressing. Like Lattimore, his play done dropped down a lot. And then Tampa Bay, they lost a lot. So
they lost a lot. Look, right now. Current projected starters, NFC South quarterback. You got Derek Carr with the Saints, Ridner with Atlanta, and Baker Mayfield with Tampa Bay. That's the projected starters, and whoever we're going to start. So looking at that, Ridder, he's still young. He hasn't proven or shown too much, so I'm not really confident in Atlanta. Derek Carr. The tape still to be told out on him. I mean, we know what he did in with the Raiders, and again, to me, in my opinion, I think he's
above
average quarterback. But I mean, he's not Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or Lamar Jackson type of talent.
Right.
So I don't have no faith in him until he shows me something. And then down in Tampa, Baker Mayfield, we've seen what he could do in Cleveland. We've seen what he could do here. So I'm not a believer in Baker. So I think, with what's out there right now, we got a very strong chance to win the NFC South. Of course, certain things need to fall your way during the season for that to happen, but we got a strong shot to get it done, man. And I'm excited, man. I'm like I said, I'm ready for this season to get going, see what we can do.
Yeah. Yeah, shout out to everybody, man, that's been pulling up, man. We going on an hour and a half mark here on Life is Just a Wave podcast, man. Hey, listen, if you're new to the channel, make sure that you like and subscribe. We on the way to 800. Listen, man, look, hey, it's a lot of other, YouTube channels out here, man, that try to duplicate but can never replicate, man, the content that we bringing over here on Life is Just a Wave podcast. It's so funny, man, these other YouTubers and shit out here, man, how they really try to, be identical twins and shit. But, it's all good. Hey, look, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Y'all already know what time it is. We got CLT in the building. We got Big Bro in the building. We talking about it, man. Listen, the Carolina Panthers, all of the moves that we've been making, man, from the coaching staff, and we're going over Frank Wright. They asked Frank Wright yesterday as well about AR-15. And Big Bro, I want to get your perspective on this. And I already know how you feel about him not being taken number one. But Frank Wright, man, had a lot of high praise for AR-15. He said that the completion percentage doesn't worry him as much as, everybody else. And with his pro day being tomorrow or Friday, How do you feel, man? Do you think that AR-15 can make a case, man, to be the number 1 overall pick?
I don't. I think what Frank Reich said about him is what he had to say, because they are going to his pro day, and he already said they're gonna bring him in. I don't, I don't think he can. No matter what he does tomorrow, he's still throwing against air just like the rest of these guys, and he can't jump the other two guys. Like what the other two guys has done on the field, AR-15 cannot jump them. You know, you put the tape, like 2 tapes beside each other, or 3 tapes, his, Stroud's, and Bryce in college, and you can clearly see the difference.
Absolutely.
What you gonna see about AR-15, you can say, wow, he's the most athletic quarterback after 3. That's what you can say. You know, he's the biggest and the most athletic. But that doesn't warrant him jumping those other 2 guys.
Right.
You know, it's about production, man. And he hasn't been very productive on the field. It's been games this past season where he looks great. Then there's also been game against lesser competition when he looked horrible. Who'd be like, I can't believe these guys is even in the conversation talking about first round. You know, those that watch tape, look at the Kentucky tape. He went against Kentucky. Go watch that tape. Dude looked bad in that game, real bad. And again, everybody has bad games. I know that. I understand. But that's inferior competition. You know, he didn't step up in those moments when Florida needed him to step up. And that's just due to, I think he has the potential to be really good, but he doesn't have experience. And you can kind of tell in that, if you go watch that tape, he his experience, lack of experience shows, right? If we draft him, he's a project, meaning he's not going to be ready to start day 1. And I get he's not going to be ready to start by the end of the year. So at best, you talking about if we draft him number 1, not coming in to start possibly next year, and he would have to develop a long way to develop in 1 year, right? To where we need him to be a starter. So again, we talk about
stats. Look at these stats, man. I got them up here on the screen from this past season for Anthony Richardson. Only 2,549 yards in the SEC. That's completely low. 17 and 9 interceptions. QBR was 71.2. For Anthony Richardson. And if we look at it, he really only has 1 real year of tape.
That's all because he only started this past season, man. 13 games. What he started.
Yeah, only 1 real year of tape. Let's take a look at, man, just by game, man, just kind of some of these performances that he was able to do here. Go down here. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. I just pulled it up. Go to game log. Let's see. All right, here we go. All right, man. Let's take a look at some of these games, man. Here in these losses. First game against Florida State. This was first game of the season. He went 9 for 27, 198. He had a 33.3 completion percentage against Florida State. Okay. Then here against Vanderbilt, 25 for 42. Did throw for 400 yards, 59.5. Threw 3 touchdowns. It's probably one of his better performances. But still 25 for 42. You can question that.
That was deep. That was solid. That was
solid. Yeah, that was solid. One against South Carolina, went 11 for 23, 112 yards, 47.8, threw 2 touchdowns. Against Texas A&M, he was 17 for 28, 201, 60.7 completion through 2 touchdowns, no interceptions here. Against Georgia, 18 for 37, 271, 48.6%. So against tougher competition. Against LSU, he went 15 for 25, 185, 60%. Then Missouri, man, this was a terrible game. 8 completions, 14 attempts, 66 yards, 57.1. And then against Eastern, I don't even know what that is. EWU, 8 for 10, 240 yards, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. It's probably best game of the season came against Tennessee, where he threw 24 for 44, 453 yards, 54.6 completions, 2 touchdowns, 1 interceptions.
What was that Kentucky game?
That Kentucky game, he went 14 for 35, only 143 yards,
Yep.
40 completion percentage, and 2 interceptions.
Yeah, that Kentucky game, like I said, you go back and watch that tape on that Kentucky game alone, you be like, man, this dude ain't even worth the first round pick on.
Yeah, so, he was horrible, man. He was horrible in that game.
So guys, what I'm saying is that I would be shocked if we pick he to me, he hasn't done enough to jump to number 1.
Yeah. I really don't see it, man. I don't see anything on here, man, to say that this guy deserves to be in the the number 1 overall pick. Again, man, we basing a lot off of his potential, his size, obviously 6'4", 232, ran a 4.4 speed at the combine, fast guy, when getting open field can be a very dangerous, quarterback, man. But I'm just not sold on it, man. And the crazy part about it is a lot of people feel like he deserves to go number 1. A lot of guys feel like he deserves to go number 1. I'm not one of those guys, man. I'm not. So Anthony Richardson is a project, and people could say, I want to say, listen, Josh Allen, you can't compare Josh Allen to Anthony Richardson. Josh Allen is a unicorn. He's a unicorn. You can't compare. And then another person you want to talk about that take big hits, Josh Allen is a guy that takes a lot of I'm going to tell you something, man. If Josh Allen don't learn how to slide and get down, Josh Allen is going to start getting hurt here sooner as it goes because he's just like Cam Newton. Josh Allen take a lot of big hits when he's scrambling, bro. He takes a lot of big hits. He don't know how to slide either. He tried to use his size, and he's a huge guy. He uses his size in the fight for a lot of extra yards. But just like Cam when he was younger, he was able to do the same thing. But as you get older, you start approaching year 6 and 7 in the NFL, you go start to see, man, those injuries go start to pile up for him.
You got to, man. I mean, that's what any position. You got to learn how to take care of your body. You got to, if you want longevity in the league, everybody talk about how long Tom Brady played. It's a reason why he played that long, man. His body was able to hold up because he didn't take the big hits. He ate right. He done a lot of stuff to take care of his body. But the main thing was avoiding unnecessary hits.
That's what it boils down to.
I mean, that's just really what it boils down to. Unnecessary hits, man. Taking in the NFL if you want to have a long career. So Josh Allen, hey, my advice to him would be, hey, man, and I'm pretty sure the coaches now told him.
Yeah, he got to learn how to slide because he take a lot of big hits. And shout out to Agent 704. I like AR if we aren't number 1. Absolutely, right?
I agree. Yes, sir.
Yeah. If we're not number 1, then absolutely, right? So if we sitting there at 4 or 5, then absolutely, man. I don't see no reason why you don't draft AR-15, right? If you're not sitting where you need to sit. But to take him number 1, man, that is a reach, guys. That is a reach. He's not worthy of being the number 1 overall pick. And I don't care what we see at these pro days. When we watch this pro day tomorrow, we're going to see. I was telling them this, big bro, and CLT, I want your opinion on this.
Right.
You're probably going to see AR-15 tomorrow. They're going to highlight all of his strengths at the pro day. He's going to be throwing a lot of deep passes, a lot of deep outs, posts, deep posts. You're not going to see him, man, throw a lot of accurate passes like drills. You're not, because he can't throw them. You're not going to see him throw no corner routes where he got to step into the throw. It's going to be just like Will Levis pro day. All he did was throw the ball deep all day long. And that's what it's going to be with AR-15. Show off his arm strength, the ability to, drive the ball down the field. You're not going to see a lot of accurate like drills like we saw at Bryce Young and CJ Stroud's pro day. You're not going to see that. Hypothetically, if we traded up to number 3 without trading DJ, the AR-15 would make sense. T. Thompson, you're right. You're absolutely correct. It would make a lot of sense if that's what we did, but we traded all the way up to number 1, man.
Right. We went from 9 to 1, guys. So if let's just say if we were still at 9 and AR-15 was still there, it would have been a good pick for us. Um, but we went up to number one, so he's not number one worthy. And CLT, I ask you this, like
CLT.
to me, like they're going to highlight, what his strengths, right? His agent. That's what those guys do. Um, how because they're trying to get the most money for their clients, so they're
Yep.
not going to show his weaknesses, and so that's probably what we'll see. But CLT, my question to you is this:
Mhm.
um, knowing that he throwing against air, which all these guys do in pro day, do you think? Let's just say he go out and we already know what he did at the combine, but let's say he go out and has pro day tomorrow, and he just lights out. Do you think it's justified for him or the Panthers to draft him at number one? I want to hear your take on
Like I've already been saying, no, it's not justified.
it.
Uh,
I figured
uh,
that. I figured that.
I'm a fan of AR, just not at one. And here's why. Here's why. So last year, if you look at pro days, right? Malik Willis wowed everybody with his pro day. Wow, like the athleticism, the being able to throw the ball deep down the field, the accuracy at the pro day, and he looked terrible in the league. It showed that you cannot trust a pro day. You can't trust these combines. You got to lean on
The tape.
on the tape. So the tape does not justify the number one overall pick. No, it does not.
Now I'm with you. I'm with you. I agree. You're absolutely correct. Same thing happened with Willis last year, and I think Willis does have potential, just like I think AR-15
Big
has
bro, your
potential.
camera popped on.
Okay, turn that off. I have some getting dressed now, but yeah, like I was saying, um, just with AR-15, like Willis, they both have potential. I just think with what the Panthers need now is a guy that can come in and ready to play. With AR-15, as I stated before, he not ready to play. Maybe at best 1.5 year from now, possibly 2 years. And the Panthers don't need it. What we doing, what we done putting together with this team, we need somebody that can come in right now. And he just can't do it. Again, looking back 5 or 10 years from now, he may be that guy. Possibly. I don't know. But what we need right now, talking about us, the Panthers, we need somebody that can come in because we done gave up a lot of draft capital to get to number one. So we need to be able to hit on this like we hit on Cam at number one. So and I think regardless of upside, CJ Bryce to me has the best potential as far as coming in right now and being an elite quarterback. They've shown in college that they are elite quarterbacks. They are at times he's shown he's an elite quarterback at times.
Now
But
I do
go ahead.
have a question for both of you guys. Do you think Bryce Young or CJ Stroud can come in and have a better career as a Carolina Panther than Cam Newton?
I do.
I'm gonna
I,
say this.
I do.
I agree. I think so. And the reason why, here's my why. So um obviously when Cam came in, the organization was different. Um at the time Cam came in, we did have a the Asian roster at the time, a lot of older players,
Yeah.
had Ron and stuff. The owner obviously was different, rest in peace, Jerry Richardson. Um, so it was a different scenario with Cam. He was able to get to us to the Super Bowl, and we did have some winning seasons there.
Yeah.
But I think there was potential for us could have been better with Cam if we would have used him the right way.
Absolutely.
I think we kind of overused him with
Wally, pull up, Wally.
overused him uh and kind of imaged him, man. We damaged Cam, man, turned into damaged goods. So I think this time around we got a new owner, we got new coaches. So I think Bryce or CJ can come in and actually get us that elusive Super Bowl that we've been chasing. So I'm gonna say yes. If Bryce and CJ can come in and win us a Super Bowl, to me that puts them ahead of Cam. As far, and again, Cam didn't get to where he was supposed to go due to it was a lot of politics and stuff that he couldn't control. But if one of those guys come in and have a better career, I think they can, especially if they win that Super Bowl. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, and my answer to this is I absolutely think that these guys can, pass Cam Newton far as, what he's meant to the Carolina Panthers. And you got to remember something, man. A big reason why Cam Newton was such a impact to the Carolina Panthers, it was more so, man, his antics. Obviously, we knew what kind of, ability he had on the field as a scrambler and as a runner. But Cam, showed a lot of antics. He was dancing and, made the crowd. He was a crowd favorite, right? Like, I think that was one of the things that really helped Cam Newton, help get to an elite status with the Carolina Panthers. But if you really think about it, man, and I was thinking about this the other day, and I want to, you guys think about it too. How many great years did Cam Newton really have with the Panthers, right? Like, I'll give you, we drafted him in 2010 or 11? Was it 11 that we drafted?
It was 11.
Him? Right. Cam only had about a good 5-year run with the Panthers where he was dominant, right? Like, where he was completely dominant. Because after the 2015 year, Cam started to decline. You remember he got hurt
when
in
those injuries. Yeah, those injuries.
Yeah,
started.
He started getting hurt 2016, 2017. He was hurt again. It was the back, it was the shoulder, it was the foot, it was the ankle. It was all type of things. And then, man, by the time, man, the turn of the decade, Cam Newton was non-existent. So 5-year run where Cam was actually on top of the league here in Carolina, if you want to say from the time he was a rookie, he won Rookie of the Year, and all the way up until that 2015 year, Cam was dominant for only about a good 5-year stretch. So when I'm looking at Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, because of their throwing prowess and their ability to be able to, throw the ball and not just rely a lot heavy on their athletic ability, I think that they're going to have longevity here in Carolina, man. I really do. Well, I want one of these guys to be our quarterback for the next 10 years. You know what I'm saying? So, and I feel like they have the ability to do that. And I think, honestly, man, if this team can keep making the right decisions, because one offseason is not going to get you a Super Bowl. That's not how it works in the NFL, right? This is the This is the starter pack for us getting to becoming a Super Bowl contender. Man, my boy Wally up here. Wally, what's good, man?
Listen to y'all guys getting it in.
Yeah, appreciate you for pulling up. But the last thing I want to say is that this offseason was the starter pack for us becoming a Super Bowl contender. We definitely got to make more moves, man, and add more things to this team, because I'm going to be honest with you. Some of these guys on our coaching staff, depending on how successful of a season we have, these guys may not be around, man. Thomas Brown might get a head coaching job. Evero might get a head coaching job if he makes this defense a top 5 defense. He was already interviewing for head coaching jobs this year. So you have to be able to, my brother always told me this, man, especially about college football, and he always talk about Alabama. You got to keep them in the stable, man, every year. You got to keep them in the stable and keep bringing out. But I think that this offseason was a good year, and I think that Bryce Young and CJ Stroud have the potential to have better careers than Cam Newton did.
And I want to say one thing about your point. So I'm gonna say something about Cam. So because you said about 4 or 5 good years. Now, one thing that Cam really never had here, and this is the fault of the organization. That's why I said a lot of stuff's not based on what Cam. Mm-hmm. He never really had an offensive line to protect him like he needed to be protected. That Super Bowl year, we had a decent one, wasn't great. But Panthers really never built the offensive line around him for him to be successful. And secondly, the knock on Cam, when people will say, well, he wasn't accurate. He wasn't an accurate thrower. And that's true. He struggled actually, especially early in his career. And he did get better as the years went by. He got I think the best year, the MVP year, he was up in the 70s, somewhere around there, I think. as far as completion percentage goes. But Cam, like I said, Cam had the potential to be one of the greatest to ever do it. You know, he had all the the talent, strong arm. He can run, he can make plays with legs, he could throw it. When he was accurate. But the Panthers, I just think we didn't handle him right. I think Ron Rivera did a bad job handling Cam and certain things and with the different coordinators and stuff, man. So that's my Cam spiel. But I think this year we got a new coaches, new owner. So meaning whoever we bring in at number one, CJ or Bryce, it's gonna be different than what we did with Cam Newton. And hopefully, whoever the guys, which one it is, they can have an MVP year. They can be consistent for several years. Again, these two guys don't really struggle with accuracy from what I've seen. So yes, the potential is there for them to have, you know, uh, I'm gonna say comparable / better career than Cam. Cam was
Yeah.
the MVP one year. MVP is huge if you can
Yeah.
get most valuable player. So we're not gonna not like that's not nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was the MVP, former MVP. So if one of these guys can be the MVP and do it, hopefully I'm hoping more than 1 year and also lead it to a Super Bowl, man. That's I think they do have potential to do, to either one of them. They
Wally,
can
let's
go
get
ahead.
your thoughts on it, Wally.
All right. So the Cam for his Cam now. Cam never had a coaching staff other than his first year, and that was when we had offensive coordinator Chud. When Chud left and went to what was it, Cleveland Browns, we didn't bring him back. And from that point on, nobody really tried to cater to Cam. What they tried to do is make Cam play their style of ball. And that's where they messed up because Cam really didn't have that. Look at his first 5 games, he was over 350 yards a game. Come on, man. You don't get that by accident.
That's true. That's true.
Come on, man. So they kept trying to change him and change. The only time he played free was 2015. It was like he was tired and he said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do my thing." And when he did his thing looked really damn good. You know. So look at the coaching staff. Look at the interviews. I'm gonna go back to the interviews with the coaching staff, right? So Brown said this. He said on offense, you look for the what do you call it? He called it blowfish. So the weak part of the defense, and you expose it. Once you
Right.
expose the weak part of the defense, what you're gonna do is then you get the offense flowing. And if they don't change it, you keep exploring that weak part of the defense. And you look at Caldwell and also the head coach. Look at
Right.
their interviews. Both said what? We gotta play to the players' strengths. And you look at every time they had players, whether they kept changing quarterbacks in Indianapolis, he changed his offense to that player's strengths. So in saying that, the senior advisor, the offensive coordinator, and the head coach all are saying the same thing. And then Deuce does the same thing. Look when he was up there with Detroit, they did the same thing. The running back came from Kansas City, Williams. He scored all those touchdowns in Detroit. He didn't do
Yep.
all that in Kansas City.
Yep.
So I'm just saying, you play to the player's strength. We never had that before. So I think we're kind of jaded, and I think we need to give these guys an opportunity.
Yeah, and you hit on the point, man, and I kind of want to just elaborate on that part as well, especially what you and Big Bro said. Like, to Cam Newton's defense, man, it was not the ideal situation for him here in Carolina, in his early years, simply because they made him the focus of the offense, right? Just like when they made Christian McCaffrey, when we got him the focus of the offense, right? Teams knew that when we came and played them, that Cam Newton was going to get the ball and he was going to run the ball, and, that's what he did. So a lot of miles were put on that car. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
And honestly, we ran Cam Newton into the ground. Like if I go back and watch, I was watching just some highlights on YouTube of Cam Newton best plays. And when I look at, man, how many plays that when you ran Cam a game, bro, there's no way that anybody without any kind of quality offensive line, like 2015 was probably the best offensive line that Cam Newton played behind. Every other
Yep.
year it was suspect, right? And then even when you talk about weapons, it wasn't even until DJ Moore came that Cam Newton really had a true number one wide receiver, and he didn't even get to play with him for long. So
no, I won't say that way. Remember, he had Steve.
well,
Year,
I mean,
year.
he had Steve Smith for what, 1 or 2 seasons at the max. One season he had Steve Smith at the max, man. I mean, that was, and at that point, that's still an end of career Steve Smith. That's not even Steve Smith in his prime. You know, Smith was still a problem, but he wasn't even, you know, the Smith that we know that was dominated, you know, with Jake Delhomme and so on and so forth. Right?
He wasn't that problem.
He wasn't that kind of problem, right? So the point that I'm trying to make is that the Panthers never really set Cam Newton up to have a ton of success. That's why even in 2015, if you look at 2015, look, who did he have? Ted Ginn Jr., Philly Brown, you know, like a bunch of no names, you know.
Cotry.
Yeah, Jericho Cotry, who was an aging wide receiver that made plays. And yeah, you had Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen was having one of the best years of his, but still, that 2015 success came off of that defense a lot. Our defense was hand down winning games for the Panthers in 2015. So the point that I'm trying to make is that we don't have, this is the approach that we're taking with Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, whoever the guy is going to come in. We're building this team, man, where these guys are put in success where they don't have to put the whole teams on their back, right? They don't have to carry the whole team. They don't it's not, the game should never come down to Christian McCaffrey winning the game for us or Cam Newton winning the game for us. That's what this team has done. And then the staff, man, is going to play to, like you said, these guys' abilities to give us a chance to win. You know, that's, to me, like, that's how you win football games. You don't come into the game and say, well, I'm expecting my quarterback to win the game for us. Like, you know, just hands down win the game. You got to have playmakers around that guy. You got to have somebody that can alleviate when your quarterback gets tired, a running back that can carry some of the load. Like, it has to be a complete effort on the offensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So, CLT, I hope that answered your question, brother.
Well, it answers the question. I would say you guys kind of disrespected Cam a little bit with the quick answers. Like, of course, you know.
No.
He's still a legend. He's still
he's a legend.
Oh yeah, hands down. He's a Hall of Famer.
But they didn't put him in the situation so he could be Cam Newton for 15 Cam Newton for at least 5-6 years. They could have did that.
I agree. Now, what I do for the sake of the city, man, they do got to add some personality, man. Cam set the bar for that personality, man. He put them seats in the stand. I mean, seats in the stand, man. They got to have some kind of.
He put the ass in the seats.
They got to add some kind of swag to their game now to be exciting.
Somebody.
I agree. I 100%. When it came to theatrics, nobody was like Cam Newton, right? When you came to the game, you know Cam was go dab. You know he was go sign jersey, run around the stadium flying and all this, that, and the third. You knew he was going to do all of that. So, yeah, from a personality aspect, we do need that brought back to Bank of America, man, because it's only going to help with the fan base and, you know, putting asses in the seats. So I do think that we need that, but I think Cam Newton is one of a kind when it comes to that, though.
You ain't lied on that, bro. Dab on him was motherfucker.
Yeah, he was dabbing on the whole world, Wiley.
Remember he came out that first game when he jumped over him like did the Superman. Then he told him, he said, "If you don't like it, stop me." And then dabbed on him.
Yeah,
like,
man. Cam was. But at that point, Cam really could not be stopped. I mean, that was the thing. Like when he was at the prime doing that, he really couldn't be stopped. You know, so you know, I don't know if, you know, like I said, Bryce Young or, you know, CJ Stroud. You know, I think those guys have a ton of confidence, but I don't think we will ever see the level of confidence that Cam Newton have ever again. I mean, no quarter.
We can't hold him to that bar.
We can't hold him to that bar. That's just something that you can't teach that. You just got to have that.
That's unfair.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I'll tell y'all another moment, man, where Cam Newton, if you remember when we played against the Green Bay Packers and Clay Matthews said it's going to be that wheel route again to Christian McCaffrey, and he threw it to him and he scored on the goal line. Cam Newton was talking shit. He said, you've been watching film, huh?
But Christian's a mother. One-on-one Christian. Come on, bro.
Yeah, man. So what I'm hoping, but what I will say to you fellas, man, and everybody that's watching out there, man, if you're new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe to it. Make sure to hit the like button on this. Midday Madness in the mix, man. Here on Life is Just a Wave podcast, man. Often imitated, but never replicated. Y'all already know, man, how we do it over here. Hit the like button, man. If you're feeling generous, Cash App is scrolling across the screen, man. It only helps the channel out, man. Any donation would be greatly appreciated. We got Wally, man, all the way from Germany up here. CLT, man, been rocking with us from the building. CLT is a real one. Big bro lost connection. Not really sure what happened there, but we'll get him back up here. Shout out to the people that's in the chats. Corey Waters, GOB. What's up with your fam? Appreciate y'all pulling in this midday madness mix over here on Life is Just a Wave podcast. Jeff R, man, what's up with it? Hey, what I will say about this though is that we got to get, as fans, we got to get out of that mindset of, you know, wanting these guys to be like former guys, or, you know, wanting these guys to be like the Panthers of the old. I want to see a brand new Carolina Panther philosophy team that I've never seen before here in Carolina. Just like with this offseason, this is an offseason I've never seen. I want to see a season that I've never seen here in Carolina before. I want to see us have, when have you can honestly say that the Panthers have had a dynamic offense like the Chiefs, or a dynamic offense like the Bills, or, you know, even the Eagles this year. Like, I want to see the Panthers have offense where we have so many weapons, teams don't know what to do with us.
So you know what you're talking about, right? You talking about when Safer was with us. People don't realize we were NFC West. We were whooping people ass on offense. The problem with Safer was he didn't have defense. So, but Safer's offense was top 5.
George Seifert.
Yeah, Seifert. Yeah, his offense was top 5. We were, man. We put them in the paint, baby.
Yeah, we had a lot of talent on that team too, man. You know, that Panthers team was a very talented team. We had a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball at that point.
And oh boy, we got him. He was like a second year or third year guy off a practice squad. He came in, he played that year. He had, like, in the last 6 games, I think he had 6 or 7 touchdowns. And then he had he tore his ACL at the beginning of the next year, and that turned into that 1-5 season.
Yeah, definitely. T. Thompson said BPA pick 39 or wide receiver. I'm gonna be honest with you, T. Thompson. Like, looking at the Panthers currently and the moves that they made, again, this is just how I feel. You know, others may feel a little bit different, but how I feel, honestly, the Panthers should go best player available at 39. I don't see any, like, position right now that is like a dire need that the Carolina Panthers should have. You get what I'm saying?
Come on, bruh.
Like, I know you're gonna say linebacker, Wiley. Like, that's
it is.
Yeah, I know you're gonna say linebacker, man, but the 3-4 scheme really changes, like, the need to have a true linebacker there. Like, yes, if you could have one there that's elite, I get it, man. But you got 4 linebackers on the field in a 3-4 scheme. So yes, having a dominant middle linebacker is, like, key, but it's not a necessity in a 3-4 scheme. Like, you want your linebackers to have speed in the 3-4 scheme, because they're going to be doing a lot of covering. They're going to be doing a lot of run stopping. So
we got that.
Yes, and we got that already. So to me,
we don't have
go ahead, Wally.
We don't have no general though.
That's true. I agree. We don't.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
Go ahead, CLT.
One thing that I'll say is, bro, the elite linebackers in the league is rare. You know, I think Carolina misses Luke, and we keep trying to. The fans want to make a Luke, bro. That shit is far fetched. Yeah, it's super rare. You know, I mean, name 5 great linebackers in the league right now. I don't really think you can, bro. Everybody's either. There's only like maybe 3 great linebackers. Everybody else is decent. Like you said, in a 3-4 screen, I'm a 4-3 screen where we have 4 linebackers. We don't need an excellent linebacker. I think we can develop Smith. He has the speed, he has the size. He just has to get a little bit smarter.
Yeah, but you can't teach middle linebacker. You need instinct. Reason why I'm saying, because like this. So Drew Sanders out of Arkansas, dude could play both down and up, and he played middle linebacker. And we go with the guy that Luke is mentoring. He's a good middle linebacker. He's a good coach or head of the defense. That's what I'm saying. You need somebody, or even Sewell, Those guys can wade through all the the defensive offensive linemen, and they can get to the tackler. A lot of guys have a lot of speed they can cover, but they can't wade through the traffic. That's what I'm saying. We missing that. And then that'll set the tone for the defense. That allowed Shaq to be Shaq and play Shaq's position, allow Brian and Louisville to play their positions. It'll free up the rest of the defense. It'll synchronize the defense. Go ahead.
Yeah, listen, I 100% agree. You know what I mean? I think that, God of Blackness was talking about Drew is an outside linebacker, DN potentially. So, yeah, but CLT did bring up a good point. I honestly think, guys, that it's rare to have a dominant linebacker at the general position like in the NFL. Like, now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, outside of your boy that played for San Francisco, and maybe Demario Davis in with the Saints, it's really kind of the rarity of having a dominant middle linebacker. You don't see them as much as you once saw them in the NFL because the schemes of the defenses have changed a lot. You get what I'm saying? So, what's the linebacker name for the 49ers? That's a beast. Not Greenlaw, the other guy. I mean, Greenlaw a beast too. He really is. What is his name with the locks?
I don't know, but their linebackers only last about 3 years. That's why they keep changing them.
Yeah, so it's really not too many dominant middle linebackers in the league like that anymore. So I just don't feel like to me, like it's a need. Fred Warner, that's his name, T. Thompson. Fred Warner. Thank you for letting me know. To me, like, yes, we could use another linebacker and potential, general on defense. But if you asking me, is it like a dire necessity right now?
Well, I think that'll take our defense to the next level, which is elite, because we have a lot of guys that can play really well, but there's no captain on the defense.
You don't think Frankie Louisville can turn into that?
No, he's more of a guy that's going to make the plays, but I don't think he's the guy that's going to be the guy to be the heart and soul of the defense.
Yeah,
he's a guy. He'll make all kind of plays, no doubt. But
yeah.
I don't think he can sit back there and synchronize the defense, put people in positions where they need to be. Because that's an instinctual position. I don't think he has the instinct for that. He has the instinct to put you on your ass.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, but fellas, listen up, man. We about to hit the 2-hour mark. I want to appreciate everybody, man, for pulling up to the channel. We've been live since noon on the East Coast. Listen, I appreciate everybody, man, pulling up. Midday Madness in the mix, guys. We will be live again on Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern with another Midday Madness. Shout out to CLT. Shout out to Big Bruh for pulling up. Everybody in the chat, man. Y'all, listen, if you're new to the channel and you're loving the content, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel, guys. Midday Madness, 12 p.m. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We live, man. We got another exciting show coming up for y'all on Friday. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into some more deep conversations as we count down to the draft. The draft countdown is on. Wally, as always, bro, I appreciate you for pulling up to the channel, man. Make sure you pull up Friday as well. We live 12 p.m. Eastern. Not sure what time that is out there in Germany.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. So make sure you pull up. And we're going to talk a little bit more and get into this draft stuff, man, who the Panthers quarterback is going to be. We're going to talk a little bit about some other potential free agents that's going to be available out there and what the Panthers' biggest needs are with the picks that we have remaining in this draft. So, again, I appreciate everybody that came out and showed support. Subscribe. Hit the like button on this video. Man, turn on your notifications every time your boy Big Wavez go live. Make sure y'all do it. Check out the new cosmetics of the channel, man. Tell me in the comments what you guys think about the new logos and the new brands. But y'all already know what it is. Life is just a wave, baby. Until next time, peace out. Everybody have a good, blessed day. Wally, I'm going to holler at you on the flip, brother.
Already, brother. Thanks.
Hey, thank you for pulling up, man. God bless. Everybody be easy.